Alright guys, Hutchcraft again today. I hope you're all doing good and enjoying your day so far. One of the most incredible days in COD history in many ways, with Doug Martin absolutely smashing out of the park the world record for the most pull-ups in 24 hours. What an achievement. So much to dive into in the coming minutes here, and he's still got a few hours to go if you want to take this record even further. Roster drama though continues to go down, with rumours emerging that Scrappy to Cloud9 is now a closer deal than it's ever been, although the co-founder and CEO of Toronto Ultra says that is not the case. What is going on? Why is this whole roster saga so confusing this year? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, but let's talk about this Doug Martin thing, right? I mean, we've talked about this now. I don't know when he announced he was going to be training for this, but it feels like it's well over a year ago, right? I mean, his COD journey, trying to become the Call of Duty World Champion, that didn't work out. He retired some competitive COD, and his new challenge was to try and achieve this. We know that Doug likes doing a pull-up, right? But the fact that this record was even attainable for Doug was incredible in the first place, right? I think what makes me so proud and so impressed and so inspired by this is the fact that, sure, Doug's a fitness enthusiast, and in terms of discipline and being an absolute force of nature mentally, there is not many people on the planet that seem to be like Doug. But fundamentally, like, he's not a trained athlete in any other genre. Like, clearly he's an athlete for doing what he's doing here. My point is that in some respects, Doug's like a normal guy, right? He's been a COD player for many years, and sure, loves fitness as well, and is incredibly disciplined, and once he sets his mind to something, he's going to be able to do his absolute best to accomplish it. But it's not like he's a genetic freak or anything like that that's capable of this. He's just worked incredibly hard and has, you know, put himself in position to do it, and he's been training for this for so long now, and had done, you know, 3,000 in 5 hours or whatever he was doing in kind of his training for this. And I was, you know, I thought that it was possible. I didn't think he would make it look easy, and that is basically what he has done here. So this is when it started yesterday. It was a couple of hours in, of course, to his attempt here. It started like 11 AM Eastern yesterday, and about, you know, 6 hours in, he'd done 3,500, right? So obviously the early pace is going to be higher. You've got to recognize that as well. I think his goal, of course, was to break the world record. Initially, I think he set himself a target of something like 11,000 in the 24-hour period. The current record was from a Japanese guy who did 8,940 in a 24-hour window. He'd set kind of a target pace to potentially try and get to like 11,000. I think maybe he revised that down, his goal, to just over 9,000. But as it stands, anything is still possible on the table here. So this is the setup. Here's Doug. You got the pull-up bar. On the right-hand side, you've got, you know, the people counting the reps, and then you've got like a referee there ensuring that every rep is legitimate, right? And we had this account here as well, Doug's pull-up tracker, which is phenomenal. So 4 hours in, he'd done 2,635, was on pace to break it about 18 hours in, and we'll see how he got on with that in just a couple of seconds. So, yeah, this is the record. This is also Shorstin on the left-hand side, who is doing a documentary, it seems, on this for his Classics GG, which is really cool to see. And then the 8 hours in, Doug had, you know, 8 hours in, he'd done over half at that point, over 50% to break in the record. So, just unbelievable scenes. This is some of the behind-the-scenes footage, by the way, from Shorstin's POV, because as I've said a couple of times, when David Goggins kind of famously broke this record, or at least, you know, made it notable, 2013, 4,000 odd pull-ups in 17 hours. That was the world record at the time. Doug just did that in 6.5 hours today. So shows how much this record has progressed in many ways. Some people are saying, oh, well, these aren't real pull-ups, they're like CrossFit pull-ups or whatever. Look, that's a real pull-up, right? The form is legit. And anyone that says that it isn't legit, you know, do 1 of these, do 10 of these, do 10,000 of these, and then maybe, you know, you'll feel a little bit differently about it. So, you know, this is how it works, right? They've got the counter going on, and, well, 12 hours in, he was halfway to making the records happen, but had already smashed way through halfway of the number of pull-ups required. And even this is interesting, right? In 2016, the world record for the 12-hour pull-up record was 5,700. Doug had done nearly 6,700 in that same time window, right? And of course, the pace is going to slow down. I mean, Doug's body must just be hurting profusely right now. Like, I can't imagine the type of meal and the type of sleep that he's going to be having after this. He's probably going to be completely broken. And the other thing is, you can't really take a break, I think, from stuff like this, because if you take a break, then, well, you can take a break for a couple of minutes, but if you let your body like kind of rest and start to recover a little bit, you won't be able to get back on the bar. So you just have to plow at it, I think, again and again. And over just the last few minutes, actually, as I'm recording this, Doug got over the line. He did a bit of a celebration, right? You know, kind of hugged some of his family and friends that are around. And also the donations have been going through the roof. I mean, Doug's raising money here for pancreatic cancer research. So, you know, if you guys have even like $1 or anything you can put in towards this, I'm sure that he'd massively appreciate it. I feel like as a COD community, we owe it to Doug after what he's been able to accomplish here. And, you know, it's been awesome to see this number just rise very quickly. He did a quick celebration with his kind of family and friends and everything after getting to 8,941, getting over the line of the records. But obviously, you know, the mission is not over yet. And here he is still going, right? We'll actually just tune back in live. Okay, Doug stepped off camera for a second after just getting past 9,000. But, you know, to talk to his coach or whatever, this is how it's going. We're over $8,000 as well raised. It's just such a, just such a great moment. And here's Doug actually coming back into the shot now. There's over 4 hours remaining. So, you know, I guess Doug's going to keep going. Even if he just does like 1 a minute for the next 4 hours, like he's gonna get like this record to a level that's going to be difficult for someone to top. And, you know, 10,000 seems is definitely possible here. Obviously, Doug's absolutely shattered. And the other thing is that he's been awake for near on, you know, 20 plus hours easily at this point, going for this record. So there's like not even just the physical tiredness, but the mental tiredness as well. And so right now, I don't know if he's still going for the 3 in a row and then gonna go in for the 2. Yeah, so he goes for he's actually going for 4. Wow, this guy's absolutely killing it, man. What a guy. So yeah, that's how things currently look. This is his coach, by the way, on the left-hand side here, just kind of seeing how things are going. Doug St. Martin, so inspirational as always. And look, we'll just see how far he can push this thing. Let's talk about Rostermania though, because there's that going down as well. This is Crim dropping 153, by the way, and Babylon, so not sure if that's like exactly the record, but it's definitely in the ballpark after what we saw over the last couple of days, at least for pro players that have been playing it in the Black Ops 6 beta. But the Scrappy to Cloud9 thing has remained a talking point over the last few days, and it's still kind of unclear exactly what's going on here, right? Because Scrap says a good week and a bit ago now that it looks like he's going to be playing somewhere else, not Toronto. Clearly, they are open to selling him and they're open to making that deal happen. The question really is, you know, whether it's going to happen and what organizations might also be looking to get involved. So last night, Ronnie comes out with this and kind of quote tweets his initial tweet that said Cloud9 will try and do everything they can to get Scrap from Ultra to effectively replace Sib on that lineup. And then he says yesterday, sources say things are moving in the right direction for this deal to get done. So it sounds like conversations have been ongoing. The other conversation as well is that we're pretty sure Envoy had some discussions with Cloud9, at least that was a rumor as well, to potentially replace Kismet there. And we know that Toronto are not letting anyone go for free, right? So if they're going to sell Scrap and Envoy, then they're going to want a buyout for both. So, you know, maybe Cloud9 are having some discussions in terms of what that buyout from Ultra actually looks like. Of course, Cloud9 are going to make the point, well, he's only got 1 more year with you guys anyway. At the end of the year, he's going to be free to walk, so we're not going to pay that much money. We're going to pay this, and then Toronto say, no, we want more. And even Toronto, right? I mean, when Envy wanted to sign Shotzzy, which they did from Splyce and Toronto, kind of the same organization as it's turned out over the last few years, they got a big buyout for Shotzzy. Like, was it not in the 200, 300k mark? I forget what it was, but Hook took a salary cut, didn't he, to actually help make that happen for that Dallas Empire team. And, you know, because he was playing for Splyce Halo, Shotzzy at the time, and then Envy wanted to buy him out, and Splyce got a bag for it. So, and that's Toronto, right? Still at least some of the same people involved. So they are going to want to ensure that a good deal here is done on some level, and therefore I imagine negotiations have been happening for the last week or so in terms of, okay, we are willing to pay this much and maybe send Sib the other way, or maybe not, depending on what Toronto want to look to happen as well, and therefore negotiations are getting down to a conclusion, you would imagine. And Ronnie says that after a week or so of discussions here, it's getting closer to Scrap to Ultra, or Scrap from Ultra to Cloud9 actually being a thing. However, this is not so clear-cut, because Adam Adamu, of course, CEO, co-founder over there at Overactive Media, including Toronto, he says this is not true. So, okay, what exactly is not true? Is the fact that Cloud9 are getting Scrap from Ultra not true at all? Are things not moving in the right direction for the deal to get done with Cloud9, or what's going on? Now, of course, it's not exactly in, it's in his best interest, in Toronto's best interest, potentially, to shut these rumors down that a deal is getting done, because what if they're also in negotiations with another team? What if Los Angeles Thieves are also in conversations as well? If Thieves, maybe, just assuming that that might be a potential candidate to get Scrappy in addition, if they hear that, well, the Cloud9 deal is going to get done, then they might just say, all right, whatever, like, we didn't get him, it is what it is. But if they see, Adam Adamu saying that's not true, then maybe Thieves think, okay, maybe we put a bit more money in, we can get that deal done anyway. So I don't really know exactly what he's getting at, but I don't believe that none of this is true. Like, clearly there's something going on, and clearly this situation needs to be resolved before every other Rostermania piece can start to fall into place, because otherwise that's before Cloud9 and Thieves and stuff figure out what they're going to do, then the other teams can't really figure out what they're going to do, because none of the top free agents are going to sign, while the top teams are still kind of undetermined where they're going to go. Even Sib in the replies here then says, thoughts at Ronnie, kind of Sib currently on Cloud9, looking to potentially go the other way to Ultra or to some other team like the Thieves or something, or potentially somewhere else as well. He's kind of getting involved in the conversation also. So it's a very interesting one. Look, I'm pretty sure that there is something happening here, and I'm not exactly sure what Adam is saying isn't true. But, maybe things aren't moving, maybe nothing's happening, but something's got to happen. Maybe Toronto are going to say, you know what, there's not enough money, we're going to pull out of the deal, Scrappy's going to stay. That's pretty much what happened last year, and I wouldn't be massively surprised if it happens again. There are some rumors as well on the amount of money for the buyout for Scrap. Benjay Nassim has apparently mentioned that it's in the ballpark of $180,000, which is actually not too dissimilar to what kind of the numbers-ish that I've heard as well. So that might be about right, and, 180K, 200K, 250K, I don't know. Maybe Toronto are doing a Seattle where they say, hey, actually, no, we want more money, and then they keep doing that until the other party says, screw you guys, like, we ain't coming to a deal here. And obviously what happened with Seattle is they kept doing that, we're pretty sure, with Pred, and then they never sold him anyway, then he left for free. So Toronto don't want to fall into that trap, you'd imagine, but also they want to get what they think Scrappy is worth, and maybe there's also the whole Envoy situation ongoing as well. Even then, Sib at Nadeshot and says, hey man, big fan, may I have your XM4 class? So, is this entirely unrelated to the potential rumours of Sib going to Thieves, or is it not? I'd imagine that there's at least something here with Sib trying to buddy up a little bit with Nadeshot. I mean, why not, right? It is the game that they play at the end of the day. But intrigued to your thoughts in the comments, right? If this is true that Cloud9 Scrappy is nearly a thing, and if it's taking time, probably that means because Cloud9 are having to bump up their offer a little bit, I don't know, to get closer to what Toronto are looking for. And maybe that negotiation's going to get done soon. If that does happen, though, they probably don't have the money left to buy Envoy as well, which means that Envoy maybe is going to go somewhere else. And of course, then if you're Thieves or if you're Toronto, then what do you do? Who do you bring in instead? Obviously, we've talked about Illy, we've talked about the likes of Beans being another option out there. There's also the likes of Slasher still probably on the borders of these conversations, trying to get back involved as well. So massively intrigued to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. And yeah, just as we end out the video here is Doug Martin still smashed through 9,000, has broken the record by over 100 at this point, and doesn't look like he's going to stop anytime soon. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, Chad, did you see this Toronto Ultra guy's tweet? I just seen this shit of him saying it's not true. This whole C9 shit. Look, sources, things are moving in the right direction for this deal to get done. And then he said not true. Co-founder, CEO, Toronto Ultra, overactive. Look at it.
Second channel on YouTube's popping up. Let's go.
You got some extra parts.
Dante said thoughts at Ronnie. He added Ronnie, bro. Yeah. You think he's capping, chat?